This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a brand new segment where I focus on current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures, highlighting the best athletes the Valley has to offer. I'm your host, Cole Havens, and today in studio I have a former Whitefish High School standout athlete, Lee Walburn. Lee, thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, let's just start off with, first and foremost, being from Whitefish, Montana, a lot of people I know bits and pieces of your story from just reading articles and whatnot, but talk to me about being this kind of sports figure that's from the Valley, that's looking to go and do big things. I know Olympic athlete is something you're trying to add to your pedigree. What does it mean to be from Whitefish trying to do all this?
It means a great deal. I mean, this is a special community. Growing up here, you realize like how amazing of a place it is, especially when you get to travel. And I've got to do all these meets around the country, and you just kind of realize that there's not a lot of places in the country and in the world that are like Whitefish. So it's really cool to represent such an amazing place. How
about take me through your time at Whitefish High School? What do you remember most? What's it like being a Bulldog? Let's just go there.
Ups and downs. I don't know. Like, Whitefish hasn't always had the best, I had, 3 different high school coaches for basketball in 4 years. You know, there was not like a set system. It was always trying to learn on the fly. I had older kids who didn't set the best example, who I didn't want to play like. So it wasn't honestly the best. I remember playing basketball and one of my regrets is not being more aggressive and not shooting more or anything like that. And that was because I had a fear of a couple older kids I played with who no one liked, and they were called ball hogs and stuff like that. So I was I don't want to be that player. I want people to like me, and I didn't want to be selfish. And I think that was one of the reasons why I loved track so much, is I found a sport where you get team unity, but you get to be really, really selfish. And I finally got to kind of overcome that fear of not being liked, because it was this is my event and I get to do my thing and I get to be celebrated for it, and I get to just take full ownership of what I do.
Now, track wasn't your first sport, right? That's not exactly the sport you thought you would be making a name for yourself in, correct?
Not at all. I grew up playing baseball. That was one of my first loves, and the reason I stopped playing it is because all my friends that I grew up with kind of stopped playing when I got to high school, and we were pretty darn good at baseball growing up. And then I found basketball in high school, and really just fell in love with that sport because my parents didn't let me play football.
So you would have been darn good at football too, I feel like.
I think I would have been okay, yeah. But yeah, I just fell in love with basketball, and I wanted to play it in college, and that was my goal. And then I did track because I was good at it, and it's kind of fun to be good at things. And they told me I'd be good at the 300 hurdles, and it wasn't my favorite thing, but it was all right. I always wanted to be the fastest kid. I wanted to run the 100 meters. But they told me I would do better in that, and I knew that I could probably win state in the 3 hurdles, so I was I'm going to kind of put some energy into this. But yeah, basically I just tried to find somewhere that would give me a basketball scholarship, and no one did.
Well, speaking of the 300 hurdles, you did end up being a Montana Class A state champion in the 300. You placed 3rd in the 110, I know, and the 400. When did you know that track could be kind of that sport for you? When did you know, hey, I have something here with this sport?
I don't think I did till after my first, maybe, because I got a scholarship from Carroll College. So I was I guess I'm going to go here because it's the only place that's going to give me money and help pay for school. So I went. The coach was you're going to be a multi. I had no idea what that meant. We just kind of started. He handed me a pole vault pole and was try this. And we just started learning, and then COVID hit. And he gave me implements and just said, go home and throw them. So I started throwing all summer and trying to familiarize myself with these freaking implements that I'd never thrown before, never thrown shot, disc, or jab, and then came back that next year and ended up winning the NAIA decathlon. It was the second deck I'd ever done in my life. It was my second time throwing these things or doing all this stuff, and I was you know what, I might be okay at this. I guess that's when I realized, the track might be something I want to do.
So would you characterize yourself, it kind of sounds like a late bloomer, right? It kind of took you some time, but that first year of college, it sounds like you started to find your niche then, it seems like.
Yes, absolutely. Because my plan was that first year, if I went and did this track thing, and I didn't like it. I'm going to talk to the basketball coach, say, let me try out. I'm going to try and walk on for you. I'll be a defensive guy, just like give me a spot. But yeah, I ended up falling in love with track and finding this thing, and so I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah, I want to go through a couple of your accolades here at Carroll. Again, decathlete, 10 events. Obviously, for those that are listening that don't realize it, it's 10 total events in a whatever meet is, whether it's a 3-day meet or whatever it may be. You're competing in 10 events. You scored a then school record 7,095 points in your first decathlon as a redshirt freshman in 2021 and were national champion. In 2022, another NAI national champion. That kind of solidified yourself, right? That kind of proved, probably not to just yourself, but everyone, like, hey, this kid's legit. This guy is pretty darn good.
Kind of. I think the cool thing about track is you can compare yourself to anyone in the country, anyone in the world, because it's a 100-meter track, and times don't lie, numbers don't lie. You get there's it doesn't matter what division you are. If you jump 27 feet, you jump 27 feet. So one of the things is I've realized you can look up the marks of any Division I person in the country, and I would, after that second year, I looked at where I stood in the country, and I was like, I'm still like not even breaking the top 100 with the 72 score. I didn't feel good about calling myself a national champion, knowing that in the grand scheme of things, I really wasn't that good. So I guess like I thought I was okay, and then I was proud of that, and then I just had this like awful feeling where I didn't like telling people I had won a national championship. All I wanted to do was go compete against the dudes who were actually top in the country. And I think they took me to a meet in California, and I got to compete against like Oregon and dudes from Arizona State and all these big schools, and ended up beating a couple. And I just started to think to myself, well, if I can beat someone from the University of Oregon, why am I at a smaller school? I think I should like put myself in a better situation to go compete against the best people in the world, because it's been 2 years and I've only got to compete against these guys once.
So take me through that a little bit more. What was that transition like then, going from, Carroll College it's a great esteemed small school, right? Mm-hmm. It's a really good program to be a part of, but then going to a Washington State, going to this big D1 program. Take me through first, what was the recruitment process like? Did you know it was going to be Wazoo right off the bat? What was that recruitment process like?
Yeah, so basically when I had that first thought, like maybe I should, because the Olympic, I started realizing, man, like the next Olympic cycle, like it was like 2 years away. I was like, shoot, that's coming up fast. And I just had this gut feeling that I don't think I'm going to be able to actually hit that dream of mine if I stay here. I think I need to get out. I need to have better training, better facilities, better competition. And it was hard because I loved my coach there. I loved the people there. I loved the fishing in Helena. It's fantastic.
And it's Montana, right?
It's Montana. Home. It's home. And I could drive home at any point, a couple-hour drive from Helena and get to be back in Whitefish. So it was really hard, but I was like, I needed to start emailing coaches and just putting out there and see if anyone's interested. And so I emailed about 100 schools, like anyone and everyone, and just put things out into the world. And I got 5 responses. A lot of people were not interested whatsoever. And I had a couple schools get back to me, and Washington State was basically the one school who was like, we're interested. Your credits will transfer, because that was a really hard process, because I had a couple schools who were interested, but for some reason they wouldn't take credits, and it was a whole hard thing to navigate. But as soon as I went on the visit and saw what they did, I was like, I need to get out of here. I had no idea the training, the weightlifting. I'd never had a lifting program at Carroll. We ran at a middle school track. We had no indoor facility. I was running up and down a football stadium and on concrete on pads where you could fit maybe 3 hurdles. And then that's what I think I've realized. Man, I can compete with kids at the best level, and they have no idea how little training I truly have. And so basically when I ended up transferring, I had a semester to just kind of get familiar with what it's like to be at the D1 level. And I got my butt kicked and realized how good these people are. And I spent the whole summer, I stayed at Washington State, trained with my coach, got a lifting program. I ran through wickets, like all these things I learned. And then that year basically ended up scoring 78 or 76 at Texas and making it to the NCAA meet and scoring 78 and then making it to the trials. So it was just like 1 year of like having true coaching and a true plan, and I ended up really excelling with it.
You kind of touched on one thing I find fascinating just listening right here is your motivation. It seems like your motivation is, again, late bloomer type of thing. Didn't quite realize I could compete this well. And then you get older, you go to Carroll. It's like, okay, I can compete with these guys. You look at the Wazoo scores. You transfer there. It's almost like, were you trying to prove did you have something to prove in a sense like, hey, I can do this type of thing being from, again, a small town, Whitefish, Montana? Did that give you some motivation to be like, hey, I want to compete with these guys. I know I can. And the fact that I'm from a small town kind of, it almost makes it feel like that was kind of some motivation and kind of almost a challenge you gave yourself. Am I kind of spot on saying that?
100%. I think the cool thing about track and stuff is I've always had this like self-belief that I could hit certain marks. And I had no idea if I actually could or not, but for some reason I always thought like I'm an athlete who like I'll be able to throw the disc over 50 meters, or I'll be able to high jump 6'6", or I'll be able to jump like 16 feet in pole vault. And if you look at my Carroll stuff, I was nowhere freaking close. It's taken a long time, but I've proven like I threw over 50 meters, I threw the shot over 50 feet. Like all these things that like if you had told me when I was at Carroll, I'd been like, there's no way I'm ever doing that. So that's a little bit of the chip. And then the other bit of the chip on my shoulder is like, I reached out to like U of M and Montana State like after I won my first NAI national championship and didn't get any response from either of those two schools. And so, it's like being a Montana kid, you're like, those are kind of your dream schools is to represent and stuff. And they, and then I won the second one and reached out to Montana State. And I was like, I need you guys to pay for my school. And they said, we won't pay for your school. And so I was like, well, that really upset me because I was like, they said I needed to like win their conference. And I was like, with my score, I would have won your conference the past 2 years in a row. Like, I don't know what else I need to prove for you guys. So that one really upset me. I still have some, salty feelings towards that school. And then it's just, you go to NCAA stuff, no one knows who you are. And, I don't know. I just feel like I have a lot of people who doubt or don't think that you're capable of doing stuff. And and more of like me, sometimes I don't believe I'm good enough to do a lot of this stuff. So it's more about proving like my inner doubts wrong than anyone else's.
So Wazoo really was a match made in heaven for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, very much. I got real lucky, and I met a great coach and friend, and just that's been the best part about going there is meeting that coach and having someone who puts the time and belief into you. Like,
who is the coach?
Derek Hinch.
Okay.
And it's just been wonderful because like as soon as I like ruptured my Achilles at the trials, like it wasn't like, oh, like let's start your coaching career after all. It's like, oh no, we'll be back. And having someone who actually believes in you just makes a huge difference and puts the energy and effort behind it is incredible.
Yeah, we'll get more into the injury here in a second. I kind of want to go through your time at Wazoo a little bit more, though. Looking at just some of the numbers, 2024, you scored a then PR 7,964 points, which is second place finish, top 5 NCAA rank. You jumped to number 2 all-time decathlon score at Wazoo, excelled in the 2024 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships, where you finished 7th overall, first-team All-American, personal best of nearly 8,000 points, just south of 8,000 points. You set PRs in several events, from the 100 to the shot put to the hurdles, etc. Take me through just those couple of years at Wazoo, getting some of those accolades. Again, number two all-time decathlon score at what? That's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I think, it's just amazing to be a part of a program that has had so much history and some amazing athletes go through it, and to look back after the time being done there and going, oh yeah, you're second all time on the indoor and outdoor list is pretty neat. It was so cool to get to travel and compete against the best people in the world, like going to Texas and competing against the dude who got the silver at the Olympics is pretty amazing. And I think the biggest part of my time at Washington State was just being surrounded by other people who had big dreams. You have a ton of international athletes at that program, people who were representing their countries at Olympics and had these big dreams, and it just kind of helps you believe in yourself and realize like, oh, you're just like me and you're trying to like do this thing. And it really helped me like tell people and speak it into existence and not be shy, because I always thought like, you're silly for thinking that you can do this. You're like, that's so like, what if you don't? That's so embarrassing. But I think the more I've like done this is realize like you have to like tell people your dream, because it holds you accountable. It makes it real. And whether you make it or not, I'm not sure that's the point, but it's you giving 100% of your effort and being to this thing to give yourself the best possible chance to make it a reality.
How about where's maybe your favorite place that you ever competed, one, and then two, who's an athlete? You just said you competed against a dude that competed in the Olympics, so I don't know how you top that, but who's maybe, I don't know if rival's the right word to say, but who's maybe that guy that you've competed against that you're like, you just love going against him?
So my favorite place to compete, I think,
or favorite track or stadium you've been to.
Yeah, the Texas Relays. It was the first deck I did when I got there, and so that's going to have like a big sentimental place in my heart. And it's just Austin's really cool, and the track overlooks the city, and the University of Texas is nuts. They got some facilities and money, but that is a really cool, special place to compete, is the Texas Relays. So that's probably one of my favorite. And then just making NCAAs and going to Hayward. There's no better place and atmosphere than the Hayward Magic. Like, it's unbelievable. Just the atmosphere and being there with the best people in the world. Like, it's really unique. And NCAAs is cool. I don't think people understand the level of competition. Like, there were some people who didn't make NCAAs and ended up making their Olympic team for their country. So that's how like prestigious and hard of a meet it is. Like the 100-meter finals is sometimes just as fast as an Olympic final, or it's nuts like how many international and world-class athletes are in the NCAA. So to be at that meet is really cool to be a part of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then I want to ask next then, now you kind of, I think at that point, you kind of finished up your college career. Most people would look back and think, okay, I've done enough. Let's call it. It's time to go into the real world. But I feel like you have this motivation. Like you're like, no, there's still more I can accomplish. So next up is the Olympic trials. You try out for the Olympics back in 2024, and I know that's about when the setback happened, right? That's when the Achilles injury happens. Yeah. Take me through, before we get to the injury, first of all, what was it like to be able to compete at the Olympic trials? That's got to be incredible in its own right.
It's really cool. It's just like the atmosphere, people who I've like, because I was like not, I'm a bad track athlete. Like I've had to learn in the past couple of years so much about this sport and like who are legends, who are like these people to look up and idolize. But in the last 2 years, I've really like, kind of dove into this sport and who are these amazing people and athletes, and you kind of just get in awe of what these people are doing. And then all of a sudden you find yourself at this meet where all these people are. Like there's Noah Lyles, there's the Olympic champ in the 100-meter, and I'm warming up around the track, and there he is. And you just have this weird feeling of like, oh, this is nuts. Like I'm actually here.
An awestruck kind of moment.
A little awestruck. And then the cool thing about the U.S. trials, Olympic trials, is that no matter how good you are, like everyone has a chance to make a team because false starts and injury. So it makes this really exciting environment because maybe Noah Lyles, yes, is the fastest person in the world, but if he false starts or if he trips or if he like something goes wrong in his race, he does not make an Olympic team. There's like maybe they get him on to like a 4x1 or something. They'll try it, but like he won't be running the 100-meter to get the Olympic gold. So that's what's really cool is there's this pressure and atmosphere, like this
kind of unmatched, right?
It's unmatched, especially for track fans. So
that's incredible.
It's amazing.
And then obviously the setback happens. You ruptured your Achilles going up for the pole vault, and again, most people would be like, okay, you know what, I've done enough, I'm done. The injury could have, you could have just, and no one would have batted an eye. Everyone would have been like, you know what, you've had a great career. But you, I don't know, it seems like in an article I read, something just kind of clicked in you mentally that you go, hey, I'm not going to let this injury define me. There's still more I want to accomplish and more I want to get to. So take me through mentally overcoming the injury. I know there's a lot you're doing, but overcoming the injury and kind of now shooting for the 2028 Olympics.
Yeah, I might backtrack a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
go for it.
So when NCAA's happened, I ended up PRing and having like 7 out of the 10 events where I PR'd and ended up having a good score and getting top 7. In my mind, I thought a lot of people thought that might have been a fluke. That like, oh, like it was the atmosphere. He's not actually like that good. Like he just kind of like used that energy and created these marks. So when I went to the Olympic trials, my whole goal was like, I'm going to prove that nothing was a fluke from 2 weeks ago. I'm going to hit every single mark, if not better, to prove that I'm consistent in this sport and that I'm like that last meet wasn't just a fluke. I didn't come out of nowhere and just get 7th. So the really cool thing was like I ended up having a day 1 personal best score, first time breaking 4,000, hitting all the same marks, if not better, and everything. And then day 2 comes along, and you know I'm having a really, really good day, and things are kind of coming together. I'm pole vaulting the best that I have all year. My confidence is an all-time high, but I have this like nagging thing in my calf, and you just can't really stop her. I don't regret it, I guess, because as a true competitor, you're like, this is the biggest stage. This is what I've worked my whole life in, this crazy dream, and I'm here. There's no way I'm stopping, you know. And yeah, it was just a bit of a bummer because we were breaking into that like top 10, and I like when you're on and you're kind of like, track's a hard sport. It's not like basketball where you can just like you get lost in the game. You know, and it just kind of happens, and it's just easy to lose yourself and find this rhythm. Track's a lot harder. It's stop and start, and you don't really have this like rhythm. But at those big meets, it's a little easier to find it. And I just felt like in pole vault, like things were going really, really well, and I had jumped like 15.5 and made it by like a foot, and I was super excited. And then just to have that all taken away in one step, that sucked.
I love how you say, though, you wouldn't change anything. I love how you say, though, if I had to do it over again and rupture my Achilles again, I would. So, again, now go into that mental recovery side of things. Take me through what that was like, or what that, I mean, I know you're still training, so there's probably some part in the back of your head that you're still overcoming it seems like.
Yeah, still getting through it. But basically, when that injury happens, you have... Really, the route that I took was to take the more conservative route. I took I had 6 to 8 weeks of just non-weight bearing, and that's a lot of time to be at home and sit and think. And so you're just trying to figure out, like, well, what, like, this is a great excuse to be done. Like, no one's gonna fault me. Most people, like, who've talked about this injury seemed like can be career ending, you know, and no one would fault me. But I just kind of like realized, like, or I asked myself, like, do you actually like what you do? Do you do it because it's cool to get like some accolades and people think it's cool, or like, do you do this because you freaking love doing it? And I think that's what I like asked myself and found is like, I absolutely love doing it. I love the weightlifting. I love the running, even though it sucks. I love throwing. Like, this is something that I just am very passionate about, and I want to do because I love doing it. So that was really cool to kind of like truly sit down and ask yourself why you do something. And then another part of it was like 8,000. The score 8,000 is just a monumental thing for a decathlete. And I didn't get to hit it. And I just kept being like, I don't want to tell my like kids or something like, oh, I would have scored 8,000, or I want to freaking do it. And I didn't want to end it without having some sort of control or like giving another shot at hitting that mark that I've been like dreaming of ever since I got introduced into this sport.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, it's almost like you're your own motivation, right? Like, you're not doing it for outside sources. You're not doing it for, the accolades are nice, I would imagine, type of thing. But you truly are doing it for the love of the game, right? So now you're competing. You're gonna start ramping up. I know you're training everything for the 2028 Olympics. Talk to me about the decision to. I know we talked off air about that a little bit, but talk to me about the decision to. Hey, I want to at least give this a go again. I want to prove that. Hey, maybe I can make an Olympic roster.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing about this year was after that injury, just be like, can I get back to some form of what I was before and give myself the proof that this is something you should continue to do? Because if I went there and I scored like 6,050 points and wasn't anywhere close to what I was doing before, I'd be like, okay, yeah, shoot, I'm not sure I can come back from this. But I was like, I told myself if I scored over 7 with everything we had done, I was like, that's honestly not that bad, and that probably gives me a shot. But to go out there and score 75 and have a personal best in a couple of the throws and just have a meet that actually went that well, it made me go, okay, yeah, you are doing this. Like, you got to go all in on this.
It wasn't, I can't, it's not like, I can do this. It's like, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And so that's what kind of gave me that confidence to really like chase it. Cause I know what I had done last year, but it's like, okay, well, that's last year. Now you have to kind of start over. You had to learn how to walk again, how to jump again, how to do a calf raise that took you 6 months to do. Like, it's a whole different ball game. And I just kind of realized, like, I think it's going to make me have some sort of competitive edge going through something like that. Like, to get through the mental side of an injury like that, it's like not only the physical, like literally getting yourself to do a calf raise, but it's like you have to deal with the back of your head every time you're about to do something. Go, oh, if you take one step and it snaps, you're probably going to be done for good. And then that'll that's just, it's a long process. So yeah, before every jump, before every run, like that was just in the back of your head, and you have to just get over the fear of it. And at some point you just have to trust or have some sort of faith in something. I don't know if I answered that correct.
No, that's perfect. And my next question was gonna be, where are you at training wise right now? You're only in Whitefish for a couple more days before you basically head out to, what'd you say, Grand Canyon, right? Where you're gonna start ramping up. So take me through what's the next couple of years supposed to be like? What's your training going to look like? Where are you going to be, and what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, so basically right now it's been awesome. My coach is like, you just need to take a break, go fishing, go explore, go hike, which has been awesome because last summer I didn't get to do that because of the injury. So I've been fishing and just resting. I still love to lift and stuff, and I like to maintain, so I go into the high school and get a couple lifts in per week and a couple long runs and just kind of keep the body moving. But the whole goal is to take a big break and let the body just breathe after this year. And then I'll go down to Arizona and we'll just start fall training. But we're going to sit down, me and my coach, and kind of plan out what we want for this year. Do we want to try to do a USA indoors? And then USA outdoors will probably be the goal. But there's like the Thorpe Cup. It's like a USA versus Germany thing I would love to try to do. There's some stuff in Europe. I met a lot of really cool people in the NCAA. Most of the people I compete against were European, so there's some really cool meets over there I'd love to go do. And then it's just, the whole goal is like, how can we be the best at the right time, which is right before LA 2028 at the trials. So we're just going to try to keep developing. What do I need to work on? I know my strengths are in the throws. I get all the points I need, but I need some work on long jump and some of the technical events. And we'll just kind of start sitting down and planning.
And then I kind of want to circle back now, too. Again, being from Whitefish and everything, now that you've gone, obviously you graduated, you went to Carroll, you get out of the state, you go to Pullman, Washington, do the Wazoo thing, you Olympic trials and everything. Talk to me about now being able to come back to Whitefish. Again, being able to call Whitefish home and knowing, hey, this is a place I can always come back to. What's it like to have Whitefish as that home?
Oh, it's fantastic. Not only just because it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, but just the community, like getting back to going to the high school, see old coaches, friends, family stuff is just fantastic, and it's neat.
Does your opinion of Whitefish maybe change once you? Because for me, it changed. Like Whitefish became much more of a place I wanted to be. Like you, I wanted to get out. I didn't want to. And you have to experience. Did you feel like when you came back, it was like, okay, this place is different in a good way?
Yes, absolutely. I think I would love to come back into the Valley and create some sort of like space for track, because I didn't realize how much I loved this sport, and I would love to share it with the younger kids of Whitefish. I wish I'd found it earlier. And so it would be really cool to come back and host like vault clinics or speed and development camps and do something in the Valley when I'm all done with this. But yeah, it's definitely like I could see myself coming back and living here for sure. And I'm not sure I would have said that if I hadn't left.
Yeah, and then I want to ask you about a kid from Whitefish who just graduated a couple of years ago. He's at Carroll right now. You probably know who I'm asking about. It's Carson Crack.
Yes.
What have you seen from him? Because it seems like he was a little more polished his senior year, but what have you seen from Carson Crack? I mean, you kind of have the similar story, right? From Whitefish going to Carroll. How good could Carson Crack be?
As good as he wants to be. Like, that's the cool thing. I hope I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years and told him anything he needs in this sport, you just text me, call me, send me videos. That's the one thing I didn't have was a mentor. It's to say, like, a good mentor who was, like, really available, really wanted to help, like, all that stuff. So I just told him, like, I don't care if you ever become better than me. Like, I will do whatever I can to help you with whatever you need. Like, because that's what this sport is all about. And he's a super nice kid and super respectful, and it's been great to get to know him. But I did tell him, I wish someone had told me you should have left Carroll after 1 year. Unfortunately, like, I love the coach there, there, but if you want to be good at track and you want this goal to be reality, I have told him you need to get out and get to these competitions where you compete against you have to make that standard of what you expect for yourself become low. Like, what you think is good needs to become what you do every single time, and you can't do that when you're stuck at a small place.
Carroll and Whitefish are going to always be there. You can always come back,
always come back. And that's the unfortunate part. Like, it's like maybe you can do what I couldn't do there. But for me, my personal experience, I wasn't able to get as good as I wanted there. So that's one thing I've tried to express to him is like, be selfish. You only have so much time to be an athlete. And so I hope that he hears me and does whatever is best for him and his journey. But I think the kid's going to be very good.
Perfectly. Hey, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I know everyone in Whitefish, everyone in the Valley is going to be rooting you on here in a couple of years. You're going to have to send me the link so I know where to go to watch your upcoming meets and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely send you the links.
Perfect. Well, thanks again. It's been a pleasure, and I think that's going to about do it for us today.
Love it. Thanks for having me.